You know, historically, there's a saying in the scientific community that every great scientific truth goes through three phases. First, people deny it.
Right.
Second, they say it conflicts with the Bible. Third, they say they've known it all along. And so we just have to ask, where are we in this scale of this
conflicts with the Bible.
So
we've actually gone backwards, excuse me. We've actually gone backwards because 20 years ago, Republicans did believe that climate change was happening. They just had a different way to approach it, cap and trade, which is now the Democratic answer. And somehow now the Republicans have moved to, it's a hoax, it's not happening at all.
No,
so how do you explain
what
that?
I have seen is that at the early phases of this, people were in denial of any global warming at all. The naysayers. Then, as the evidence kept building, they said, okay, we accept that the Earth is getting warmer, but humans are not responsible for it. So there's some incremental acquiescence there that no one seems to be talking about. But what I pay attention to is, so if you don't want to believe all the scientists, I have another way for you to approach the problem, and that is you can take your cue from the rest of the animal and plant kingdom. Animals are migrating in different rates. Plants are migrating north that never made it north before because they can now sustain the warmth that is there. They're plants that are getting fertilized earlier than before. The migration patterns have shifted. And so nature is telling us nature already knows the answer to what it is everyone here is arguing about. That's how I get my cues.
Name me one prediction of the International Panel of Climate Change, which made predictions in 91, 96, 2001.
They're all worse. They're worse than they predicted.
No.
Yeah.
The oceans were going to get hot.
They are.
Remember Al Gore in...
The oceans are
Remember
hotter.
Al Gore in Inconvenient Truth, waving his arms over the Gulf of Mexico, saying, if you thought Katrina was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. We haven't had any serious hurricanes.
You know what we could do? Here's what we can do.
The Florida Keys are supposed to have disappeared by now.
Okay, you know,
I have a house there.
Here's what we could do.
Okay.
By the way, I think conserving the environment is conservative, right? Isn't that what conservation means? Is
we all
conservative.
agree.
What you can do is, we can take everyone who denies the consensus of the... Okay.
Science doesn't operate
Sure,
on
if you want to say
you know it.
Science doesn't operate on consensus?
No, science operates as the professor knows.
It operates on a consensus of experiments.
No, there are tipping points, you know, where everyone, you know, at first they didn't all believe in evolution, and then 50 years later, yes, the consensus was it was true, and now we move on to the next thing.
Are you prepared to put your money where your ideas are?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then you're prepared. So here's the experiment. You take all the scientists who authored these papers, get them to pool their money, and invest in companies that would benefit from global warming. And take all the people who are in denial of global warming, take all their money, invest in companies that would presume there is no global warming. And I predict, you want a prediction? I predict that you will all go broke in the next 50 years.
And I will predict exactly the opposite. There has been... There's just one final point.
Sure.
The last 15 years, CO2 has gone up by several points, and global temperatures have stayed stable or slightly declined.
Again,
yeah, they have. But even the global warmers
the last decade was the hottest decade on record. Fact.
Not so. Bill.
Not so.
No,
what are you reading that I'm not reading?
No. You can both be correct.
2010.
No. You can both be correct in that.
Oh, shut up. No, I'm kidding.
No. What I'm saying is, it can still be the hottest on record, but have leveled.
But
that's still possible.
And this is what's driving the global warmest nuts, is because CO2 is up and warming is level to down. So I think the movement is in serious trouble.
Well, bet on it.
I bought a house in the Keys.
Did you?
Yeah, it's supposed to be underwater 3 years ago.
Yeah, just wait. Okay, let me ask you about... All right, let's move from there and let's get to the place we're going to have